7 o'clock, we're going to get started. Mr. Moffitt?
I'll read the statement of compliance. This meeting is being held in conformity of the Open Public Meeting Act. Proper public notice of this meeting was published in the local papers on October 11 and October 12, 2014. If any board member or member of the public in attendance believes that this meeting is in violation of the Open Public Meeting Act, the Hoboken Board of Education requests that they make the statement at this time. The board wishes to make those in attendance aware that this meeting is being recorded on video and will be rebroadcast by the board at a later date on cable television channel 77 and FiOS channel 46. The Hoboken Board of Education is committed to preserving the decorum of the public process and is mindful that we live in an electronic age of computers, cell phones, and other electronic communication devices. Nevertheless, we respectfully request that all meeting participants kindly silence their electronic devices during the course of the meeting. And if use of the device is necessary, we ask that you please leave the meeting room if you need to conduct personal business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please rise for the salute to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we'll begin with our recognition portion of, roll call. I'm sorry. Sorry, Miguel.
Mr. Biancamano.
Present.
Ms. Evans.
Here.
Dr. Gold.
Here.
Mr. Cluffell.
Here.
Ms. Mitchell.
Here.
Mrs. Rhodes-Kearns.
Present.
Ms. Sobolov.
Here.
Ms. Stromwall.
Here.
And Ms. Tyroller.
Here. Now we will proceed with the recognition portion of the meeting.
Good evening, Madam President and fellow board members. It's an honor this evening to be back here to recognize our students of the month. Our first student of the month is from Brant Primary School. Please note that this is the first time that we've recognized a Brant student, so this is our first Brant student. His name is Gabriel Loudon. Gabriel? Gabriel is an exemplary student. He is hardworking, but knows how to have fun. He enjoys playing with his car toys and playing soccer. He's great at trying his best and being kind and helpful towards others. He is such a joy to his peers, teachers, and school community alike. We collectively salute him. Please join me in congratulating Gabe.
Good job.
Great job.
Our next student is a first grader from Calabro School, Jose Marin. Jose puts great effort in whatever task is presented to him. His ability to collaborate with peers makes him a fabulous role model at Calabro School. He is an excellent listener and always follows directions. Jose strives to help out in any way possible. He has a positive attitude and is a good friend to others. It is with great honor that I present him with this certificate as September Student of the Month. Congratulations, Jose. Our next student is from Thomas G. Connors Elementary School, Emily Pinero. Emily. Emily is an excellent role model for all other students. She consistently completes homework and classwork. She comes to class on time and shows pride in everything she does. She has also become an excellent help to the other students in class. Students know to go to her when they are confused if the teacher is assisting another student. She maintains high grades in all her work. Please join me in congratulating Emily. Our next student, second grader from Wallace Elementary School, Diha Babishi. Diha is a second grader in Mrs. Arnone's class at Wallace Elementary School. She is an excellent student. Diha comes to school on time and prepared every day. She has perfect attendance. While Diha is in school, she participates in all subject areas. She's eager to learn new things and share new ideas and knowledge with her peers. Diha works hard on difficult tasks and completes all classwork and homework. She has a positive attitude and is respectful towards adults and students at Wallace. Diha strives to follow the Wallace School Pledge every day. Please join me in congratulating Diha. Our junior high school student, 8th grader, Kayla Abuha. Kayla is an outstanding student. She's always there to help her fellow students and teachers. Kayla is a pleasure to have in class. She actively participates in classroom discussion and takes every assignment seriously. Kayla will have success in high school because of her drive and determination. Please join me in congratulating Kayla. Our next student is the high school student, 9th grader, Jose Sanchez. Academically, Jose has completed all assignments on time and has performed very well on the first few tests and quizzes. Jose raises his hand to participate in class. He is cooperative and respectful in class. He is a good leader in that he's always in uniform, on time to class, prepared, follows school classroom rules, doing what he is supposed to be doing. Please join me in congratulating Jose. Continuing with our recognition, we're going to recognize the girls' softball team.
Softball.
Softball, yes.
Softball. On behalf of Derek England, I'm standing in his place this evening. He does apologize for not being here. He had to bring his 10-year-old daughter to a swim meet, as she is just embarking on her own athletic career. This evening, we have the state championship girls softball team. And this is a great honor for this group, and it is the second sectional championship in program history, was just the icing on the cake. The game itself was sensational, from Nikki's first pitch to Naomi's amazing clutch hit, and everything in between. But that was only one game, and to only focus on that game would be a disservice to all of you and your coaches. Each of you were members of a team that made sacrifices, had a ton of heart, overcame adversity, and was resilient every step of the way. You were family on and off the field. You met challenges head on and rose to the occasion every time you had to. Nothing was handed to you last year. You had to earn every victory you did. There are lessons you will keep with you forever as you play the game called life. The coaching staff, Coach Johnson,
Coach Roeder, Coach Generelli, Coach Barron, Coach Vaccaro. They were outstanding leaders and role models. Their numerous hours, constant encouragement, and unwavering confidence were inspirational, not only to the players, but also to all who watched them in action. Thank you, Coach Johnson, and the rest of the staff. Coach Johnson, you have made the athletic department and the district proud. It gives me a great honor this evening to call up our 2014 coach, also the state sectional champion, Coach Mr. Vinnie Johnson.
Good evening. Wow. I'm really excited to be here. I really like to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to coach the school that I grew up since I was a little guy. Bubbles remembers. It's such an honor, and to give back to your school, Hoboken. I love Hoboken. I always love Hoboken. I'll never stop loving Hoboken, for sure. Superintendent, Mr. Miguel Hernandez, Ms. Hitt. I'd like to present to you our 2014 state champions girls softball team. These rings is a symbol of how well and how good our team played this year. And I'm really proud of the girls. I'm truly proud of my coaches, who Coach Generelli, Coach Wency, Ashley Barron, Raquel Roda. All these guys really put a lot of time in, a lot of effort, and did a great job. And without them, this is definitely not possible. For me, I need them, and I would love to share this with them. Jackie, come on. I know when I need them by my side, because that's where they were, over here by my side. So I'd like for Irene Sobroff to please present this year's and hopefully next year's rings to the 2014 state champions, Nicole Barron, Dana Burrell, Samantha Mott, Kayla Marstett, Destiny Reddick, I also got one thing to be proud about these young ladies. All 6 of these girls are now in college and hopefully continue to play softball. Alicia Antoinette, Destiny Gideon. Naomi Olasio. Tessa Adio. Taylor Barron. Ariana Johnson. Ranisha Nixon. Diane Nieves. Brianna Peguero. Brianna Ortiz. Darian Bean. Lisette Ramirez. Emily Sotro. Ashley Diaz. Kayla Vermont. Alize Henriquez not here tonight because she got hurt in a soccer game, so we're hoping her recovery is quick. Her twin sister, who always got her back, is going to cover her ring tonight, Jada Henriquez. Riza Lopez. Oh yeah, I know that. My favorite, Elizabeth Moyano. Justine Mills. Yeah, and also we had one girl who their family moved to Florida, Aitza. I wish you were here with us. And Diana will take it because she's going to Florida for vacation. So, board members, Mr. Superintendent, thank you so much for allowing us to have this night. And the girls are definitely happy. So thank you and have a good night.
At this time, I would like to call up. This time, I'd like to call up Mr. Anthony Romano for a special presentation.
Good evening. evening, Madam Chair and distinguished members of the Hoboken Board of Education. Thank you for the privilege for allowing me to come up and, on behalf of the county, recognize this wonderful accomplishments. Two things I'd like to say on behalf of the county executive. For Dr. Brokel, we wish you good luck in your time here in Hoboken. It's a great opportunity. It's a great place. It's a great school system. We're there to assist you in any way. We want to thank you for what you did for us for the Columbus Day celebration ceremony in our park. And your Red Wing Band was an outstanding example of what this school system stands for and what produces. Thank you. Obviously, we know what this team did and accomplished on the field, but what impressed me also is the way they behave, the way they're neatly attired, and the way they have that spirit of togetherness. And that's something that takes it to another level of what you've accomplished. Team means a lot, to work together to accomplish a goal. And that you're going to take into life of people that you've played together and grown together, you never forget. And I look back at someone in the back room, the father of someone that I grew up with, that not only a great ball player, but a team member in Vinny Adio. And that's something that bond of brotherhood that you never forget. So on behalf of the county, I'm not going to we all know what your accomplishments are, but we want to recognize you. And Coach Johnson will get one for each one of you, a proclamation proclaiming and congratulating you. It's read into our county record. And it's from the county executive, to Geese and all the board, and to each coach and member of the team. And congratulating you for what you have done. And again, exemplifying the true spirit of what the future of this city is, what the product of this wonderful school system is, and our future is in a good place with you there. We want to make one other presentation. Vinny, would you come up? There's someone here that I know all my life. I've had the pleasure of playing with him. I had the pleasure of working with him. Someone that went through so much difficulties, recently even health, but his main focus has always been his team and his children or his young adults. He's someone who is an example of what sports is supposed to be. When we were very young, we watched his brother excel for Hoboken High, his late brother, who was an outstanding athlete. Alfred. We play every night on the field named after his beloved mother. And all we want to do is recognize him for his dedicated service to the children, the young adults of our community, as a coach, as a mentor, and for you, my brother, as always there. Thank you, Vin. Again, thank you to the wonderful members of the board. God bless each and every one of you. It's not an easy job. Thank you.
Thank you. And Miguel, before, Dr. Hernandez, before we move on, I just want to allow, if board members wish, to personally congratulate the team. Fran, or Ms. Rhodes-Kearns?
Congratulations, and especially to Coach Vinny, who I've known, like he said, since he's a little tyke. I'm Bubbles, by the way. That's who he was addressing, and I'm so proud of you, and you know I love you, and you were my son's coach. You're a champion coach, that's what you are. You brought him to, when they were little bitties, when the championship games. You're just a champion guy, that's it. Love you.
Mr. Biancamano?
Piggybacking on what Ms. Rhodes-Kearns or Bubbles said, your hard work and dedication has truly paid off. I know Coach Johnson worked you gals to death, and it certainly paid off, and congratulations on your state championship.
Ms. Mitchell?
You must be all so proud. Huge congratulations from me and Coach Vinny. Fantastic job, thank you.
Ms. Sobel?
I want to say it was an honor to be able to stand up there and hand the girls their rings. And as a mom of athletes, I know that how hard you all work, but I also know how hard it is to be a student athlete. So you have to excel in both. And I think that I can probably speak for all of us. We're incredibly proud because we know that you excelled in both as a student and an athlete. And I know that's a tremendous accomplishment. So congratulations to you and to the coaches, and great job.
Dr. Gold?
Coach, team members, what I thought was most impressive besides winning was that all you were going to college. And that's absolutely wonderful. And thank you for making that known to the people in the audience and who are watching this on TV. Both athletes and scholars, and makes members of the board extremely proud. So thank you very much.
Ms. Stromwell?
Well, although I tried to play softball in high school and I wasn't the softball athlete, but my sister was, and she played on in college, and so I know your dedication is beyond what most people have ever experienced, and for all of you to make it as far as you have and to progress further in life, I congratulate all of you, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you.
Ms. Evans?
Sure. I'd like to congratulate the coaches and also the team, and I'd particularly like to thank them and congratulate them for being such great role models. My older daughter played her first year of softball, and we went to one of the games, and it was great for her to see where she could be, a student athlete, and I thought that was great, and I congratulate you for that most of all. Thanks.
Coach Johnson and Coach G, and the whole team, congratulations. And how many people are returning this year? All right, so remember my face, because I think I'm going to be attending a lot of the games this year too, right?
I think all the board members have said a little bit of what I would say. Number one, you know, Lady Red Wings, and we are so proud of you as student athletes and our coaches. What a wonderful job you did this year, and what you do beyond coaching in the classroom and to help maintain our buildings and make us so proud as board members. So be proud, wear those rings proudly, and go Lady Red Wings. We're looking forward to next year, to this year. Okay, and with that, we'll continue with the next portion of our recognition ceremony.
At this time, we would like to make a special presentation. Hoboken Public Schools is very fortunate this year to have a Teacher of the Year for the state of New Jersey. Our next board president come up, Dr. Brockell.
I don't want to trip over that cord. Mr. Matone, you have to come on up. And Mr. Bally? Mr. Mark Matone, it is such an honor to have you as a teacher in this school on behalf of the full board, on behalf of everyone in the community. For all of you to know, the Christie administration announced the selection of Mark Matone, a special education teacher from Hudson County, Hoboken, New Jersey, as the 2014-2015 State Teacher of the Year. Mr. Matone teaches preschool children with autism at Wallace Elementary School. He's been an educator for 19 years and very fortunate for us the last 4 years here as a lead teacher in Hoboken. It's with great honor that we present this plaque to you as an award of achievement as Teacher of the Year for New Jersey. And I just wanted to say, yes, we can clap. When you accepted when you came and accepted the award as Hoboken Teacher of the Year, one of the things that you pointed out was how important the teachers, how part of the award you felt was deserving to also the teachers that you work with, the administration you work with, and especially the aides that work so hard for our children every day. And we recognize as a full board that it's a whole community effort. And where there's one, there's many. And though you're receiving this award, we also know that it's also a reflection on all the other wonderful teachers, aides, support staff, and administration that's in this district. So congratulations, and National Teacher of the Year? Who knows? Would you like to say something?
Well, thank you to the Hoboken Board of Education, Dr. Bokel, Dr. Hernandez, Mr. Bally, everyone I work with, teachers, Doug, who filmed me. It's been a long 9 months to get to where I am, and now we're going for national, so it's more complicated. But I can't really express how I'm appreciative for all of the support, not just over the last few months and the last few weeks, but since I've been in Hoboken. This community is really a community, and it's nice to be part of it. And not from being Hoboken, but family many years ago, coming here has just been a very unique experience, and absolutely love being here. Really quickly, it was a month to this date that I got a call from Commissioner Hespy and Assistant Commissioner Pete Shulman. And when they notified me that I was State Teacher of the Year, to say that I was overwhelmed is definitely an understatement. But I just want to make sure that everybody understands that although I'm going to be, in a few months, going to the Department of Ed to really work on things, I've received a lot of feedback from many fellow teachers, parents, and in fact a student who I was part of their current event assignment today. So you don't realize the impact or what people are interested in throughout their life. And while I'm down there, I'm going to make sure that I can provide that impact and provide what people need, whether it's a teacher, a parent, or a student, to be successful in the education world. So I just want to say thank you very much.
As the interim superintendent, I inherited Mark. And, so I wasn't here during all those good years that you served, but I certainly did appreciate being at the State Department. I know Commissioner Hespy because he was from Park Ridge when I was superintendent there. And we reunited, and it was just such a pleasure to have Mark there. The other finalists didn't know that Mark won the award, and it was supposed to be secret right up to the presentation. But lo and behold, out the window, he gets a car from NJEA to use, and on the side of the car was, "Congratulations, Mark Deltone, State Teacher of the Year." So the other finalists looked out, and I said, "Well, spill the beans." I guess we know who it is. But once again, I'm so happy for you and so proud of you. Thanks, Mark. Congratulations.
Okay, and again, oh, sorry.
Okay, that concludes the recognition portion.
Okay, and just Mrs. Rhodes-Kearns, would you like to comment? Anyone want to comment? Well, let's start with.
Mr. Matone, he's leaving.
Oh, you're leaving.
Just a quick comment, Mr. Matone, if you don't mind. I just want to personally congratulate you. You don't know how proud I am of your achievement. Certainly, we talk a lot of times about the litany of challenges, and I certainly am adamant that we do have the best district, the best teachers in any district in Hoboken, and it's evident by you becoming the New Jersey School Teacher of the Year. So congratulations. I'm very, very proud.
Any, Ms. Rhodes-Kearns, do you?
Congratulations, Mark, and I was happy to see that our former Director of Special Services that you worked alongside with, Thomas Fitzgibbons, was there for your special moment also. Congratulations.
Jean-Marie?
So quick congratulations. We're so proud. Thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
Dr. Gold?
So the next stop is national, right?
National.
Ms. Stromwell?
Congratulations again. We're so, so very proud of you. We know you're going to do an excellent job for the state of New Jersey.
Ms. Evans?
Congratulations, Mark. Every teacher, is fully committed to their students, but the work you do is with families who need so much support, and I know how much they appreciate it and how their challenges are so great. And I think having someone like you to support them just makes this award so well deserved. Thank you and congratulations.
Mr. Buckle?
Mr. McCullough, you make us all proud. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And you make us very, very proud. Congratulations. Okay, so what we're going to do now.
I have just one more comment.
Oh.
Can you give me a ride home in that car?
What we're going to do now is we're going to we have to do a very short closed session, but at the same time, this will give all you wonderful folks that came out for this wonderful recognition ceremony, Students of the Month, the softball team, Teacher of the Year. I mean, it's a great night for Hoboken. So, do I have a motion to go into closed?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Well,
And
can we
thank you all.
Excuse me.
Oh, wait.
We need to identify the purpose and how long and if they're,
Okay, go ahead.
what is the purpose?
Oh, the purpose is personnel.
Personnel, and for how many minutes? About half hour?
Where it will be a half an hour.
And we'll be returning that to
Okay,
business.
so we'll resume in a half an hour for those that want to remain. Thank you.
Take a roll on return. Mr. Biancamano?
Present.
Ms. Evans?
Here.
Dr. Gold?
Here.
Mr. Cluffell?
Here.
Ms. Mitchell?
Here.
Mrs. Rhodes Kearns?
Present.
Ms. Sobolov?
Here.
Ms. Stromwell?
Here.
And Ms. Tyroller?
Here. So now we'll continue with the reports section of the agenda.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Dr. Burkell?
I have a couple of items to report on tonight. One of them is activities that took place during Hispanic Heritage Month, which was September 15 through October 15. And I'd just like to quickly go through them with you. At Joseph Brandt Primary School, Hispanic Person of the Day, Spanish Words of the Day, a culminating assembly, an armadillo song, dash a Bolivian legend. At Calabro, weekly conversations about famous Hispanic people during Spanish lessons, recognition of Hispanic Heritage Month and famous Hispanics over the PA system. And at Connors, school-wide assembly on October 15, and Hispanic Heritage Staff Luncheon on October 17. In the Wallace Elementary School, classroom activities about famous Hispanic people. And in Hoboken Junior Senior High School, Hispanic Culture Club marched in the Bayonne Hispanic Heritage Parade. The Hispanic Culture Club, in conjunction with media production class, created a program which aired on Channel 77. Hispanic Heritage Month essay contest, and Hoboken Junior Senior High School Hispanic Culture Club flag is displayed on the flagpole under the American flag. So I just want to go through that with you quickly to let you know that we do celebrate that.
Thank you.
All right, the second thing that I'd like to report on is the New Jersey CUSAC District Improvement Plan. And I've written something for myself that I'd like to read so that I make sure that I include everything I want to say. On the 2014 New Jersey Quality Single Accountability Continuum District Performance Review, the Hoboken Public School District did not satisfy at least 80% of the weighted indicators in the area of instruction and program. The school district submitted a reconsideration request to the New Jersey Department of Education, and they subsequently informed us that after the reconsideration, the original score would stand. State regulations then required the district to submit a district improvement plan, or called a DIP, commonly, by November 1st. District administration convened to determine the course of action for formulating the DIP. Stakeholders discussed the district performance review and discussed action steps for the indicator scored 0. District supervisors of content areas began to write the DIP, soliciting feedback from staff members. Upon completion of a first draft, the document was submitted to Pamela Castellanos, whom I know from previous years at the State Department, and she's now the CUSAC coordinator for the state. She is the CUSAC coordinator, as I said a moment ago, and she in turn forwarded the document to Dr. Joseph Ramos, who's the education specialist for Hudson County Office of Education. And Dr. Ramos provided specific suggestions to improve the draft along the way. And what we did was then incorporate some of those suggestions into the plan that we were creating. The document was resubmitted and subsequently approved, which I didn't expect so quickly, but it was approved by Ms. Castellanos and the Department of Education. Now I'm going to just mention 5 specific strategies that we outline in the DIP to improve the district's implementation of instruction and program. And they include, number 1, job-embedded building-level professional development sessions focusing on aligning several district and state initiatives, such as the PARC, the DOE model curriculum, and SGOs. 2, building and district-level administrative walkthrough practices, and we just did that this morning. We had our administrative council meeting at Calabro. Walkthrough practices monitoring the alignment of standards, lesson plans, and classroom instructional trends. Number 3, data analysis and disaggregation of data by way of building-level data teams, which we've now created. And they're comprised of administrators and teacher leaders. 4, the monitoring of curriculum implementation and articulation by way of online surveys and common planning time. And number 5, the continued implementation of programs designed for targeted intervention and enrichment for all populations, including G&T, ESL, etc. Implementation has already begun. And as I said before, I'm very happy to know that our plan was approved and accepted while it was in the stage of going back and forth. The Hudson County office will visit in April to see how well we're doing with the plan and how much is going on, and actually how well we're doing. Now, the new CUSAC is simply a statement of assurances, and that's due November 15. So we're going to have that ready to submit by that time for our next meeting, and I'll announce that at our next meeting.
Okay.
I also want to report something that I'm extremely happy about, and that's the electronic violence and vandalism report. For the members of the public and the board, I think you have a 9-year trend that we distributed before. And the Hoboken School District's report included 54 incidents of violence, vandalism, and substance abuse, including 5 harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidents, 31 incidents of violence, which is fights, 3 incidents of vandalism, which did not involve any cost to the district, 3 incidents of weapons, which in all cases were the small knives, and 12 incidences of substance abuse, which could include either alcohol or drugs. The prior year, there were 70 incidents of violence and vandalism, so obviously the district is headed in the right direction thanks to all the principals' efforts, and Dr. D'Elia, who is our district HIB coordinator. As you'll note from the 9-year trend, the Hoboken School District, which has been provided as a handout, we have gone from 102 incidents in the 2009-2010 school year to just 54 incidents for 2013-14. So again, moving in the right direction, I think, is the key to all these issues. A final section of my report is to highlight some of the standardized testing and some of the ways we're evaluated as a school district, and that's from last year. The first thing on the first page I want to say is that our student attendance continues to be improved. All right, if you take a look at that, 93 at the high school, 94 at Wallace, 92% at Connors, 95 at Calabro, 92 at Brand. That's excellent. On the next little section, I'd like to point out some things about the junior senior high school. If you take a look at a 2-year comparison of the English Language Arts, ELA, that's the top chart. The VS means valid scores that they considered, and the PP is partially proficient, partial proficiency. So if you look at 2012, 2013, 15% of our students were scored partially proficient as opposed to last year, 8%. So again, that's a gain, all right? So we move 7 points better on the partially proficient section. All right. Meanwhile, if you look at the P and the AP, we're over 92% proficient or advanced proficient on the ELA. Now in math, it was my understanding that in the previous year, we made some substantial gains. And what I'd like to point out is we maintained those gains. We didn't lose, we didn't particularly gain more, but we maintained the gains from the previous year. Our graduation rate is improved from 85 to 86%. Our advanced placement testing, I'd like to point out to you that coming from suburbia and knowing some of the suburban high school districts, including my daughter's own district, Ramapo, Indian Hills, our 23% of students taking those AP exams scoring at a 3 or a 4 is quite the same as some of the suburban districts in Bergen County. So we have a lot going for us here, and I want to point that out emphatically. I was very pleased to see that. Going to our grades 3 through 8, our ELA, again, the VS is the valid scores. I think that, certain areas we've improved, certain areas we haven't. I think I'd like the percentages to be better in the proficiency and advanced proficiency, and we'll continue to work on that with the help of what we've planned in the DIP. I think that's going to help us tremendously in future testing. For the members of the audience, again, on the lower chart, comparing the entire district of all our elementary schools from 2013 to 13-14, where you see a decrease in the PP from, let's say, grade 4 in 2012-13 at 64%, down to 56% in 2013-14. Again, a positive trend. You want fewer students in that partially proficient category. And where you see an upswing in the P or the AP, that's, again, a good thing. You want to see more kids moving from that PP section up to the P and eventually to the AP if possible. So it's a good picture that I want to say is even more tremendous when you look at Connors, and particularly on the 3 to 8 math. 93% proficient, advanced proficient, 72 in grade 4, 54 not so good in grade 5, so we need to look at that, and at grade 6, 79%. In math, we have done a good job at the elementary school, and we'll continue to work on it. And once again, I want to stress that the DIP is not just a straighten out a CUSAC situation. The DIP is for us to create internal management procedures, which I've shared with the staff, to get these things upgraded, to make sure we have the curriculum in the right spots, to make sure we're using the right instructional methodology. And that then can relate to improved testing. So that's my hope. And I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Moffett, the Business Administrator report?
Yes, I have one item tonight. As required by the New Jersey Administrative Code, the district is to report and discuss audits conducted by the New Jersey Department's Office of Fiscal Accountability and Compliance, which is also known as OFAC. Over the summer, OFAC finished up 2 audits. Their audits were in regard to Hope's Community Action Partnership, Inc., and it covered both the enhanced and the expanded Head Start programs for that 2012-2013 school year. For those that don't know, Hope's CAP, provides services, these services to the department, the Hoboken Public School System, as part of their early childhood program. These reports were reviewed by both Hope's CAP and district staff members, and Hope's CAP is in a process of finalizing and developing related corrective action plans. Both audit reports reflect findings and were classified mainly as accounting irregularities, with one report listing unexpended amount of $8,748 in funds, meaning unexpended funds, to be returned to the district. Once Hope CAPS and the Hoboken Public School agree on a corrective action plan or plans, they will be made available on the district website and any other information that related to those, not only the actual reports, but the corrective action plan will also be provided on our website. Again, this is an oversight function from the Hoboken Public Schools. This is OFAC, again, is the Department of Education. They come in and they do various audits on their schedule, and they conducted those audits, again, finishing them up over the summer, and we're required to record them in our minutes and also participate in the corrective action plan as best we can. We would have to agree with that plan as created by Hope's CAP. Again, that is my report, and if you have any questions, I'll remain after to answer.
Thank you. Now let's move on to committee reports. Finance Committee?
Thank you. The Finance Committee did meet last week on Wednesday from 9:30 until 10:30. Joining me were Dr. Gold, Mr. Moffett, Ms. Sobolov, and Ms. Stromwall. I circulated to board members sort of I think a kind of thorough report of some of the things that we talked about. There are 26 items on, or I think 26 items on this agenda. None of them are controversial as far as I can see. The ones that were a little confusing we asked about, and they all were answered, and questions were answered to our satisfaction. The biggest things here, two large contracts, so those are for those are pass-through amounts going to early childhood providers, which we know and anticipate. I think a nice surprising thing is the through the work of Mr. Moffett, I think, in the administration and conversations with the state, we are now in a position to charge rent to the early childhood providers, those who we now rent classroom space to. That was sort of a new finding, I believe. So that kind of helps us, which is good news. And I think maybe Ms. Mitchell, you'll talk about this more, but on the finances, the approval to release to the architectural firm for estimates, bids on the renovation of Brand facade, finally. So, you'll talk about that more?
Just a little bit.
Okay, good. So I know we and the community will be happy to see that moving forward finally.
Okay.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Curriculum and instruction, Ms. Stromwell?
We met last Wednesday, October 8th. I believe we started a little after 6, because facilities ran later. In attendance were Dr. Hernandez, Charles Bartlett, Donna DeConto, Ruth Tyroller, Irene Sobolov, Jean Marie Mitchell, and myself. The staff has been working very diligently writing curriculum and showed the committee the writing samples for the different grades and subjects. They've been revising the curriculum to align with Common Core and PARC. CUSAC support for teachers was discussed and will be implemented when the DOE approves the district plans. The PSAT was discussed and has been approved for all 10th and 11th grade students. There was also a discussion to see if the district could add 9th grade students for the PSAT testing to allow an opportunity to identify merit scholars. The PSAT testing is actually tomorrow, and the fee has been waived for our 10th and 11th grade students. We also discussed graduation requirements for the 2016 class. They have been modified to include the SAT and other tests as a way to fill graduation requirements. We also discussed district cross-curricular initiatives are being introduced by the staff and will continue throughout the year. An example of the initiative is the high school art class incorporating language arts into their projects by way of mixed media design. The project was well designed and the students enjoyed the project. PARC readiness memos are being sent to staff every Monday with a countdown, an example how to incorporate PARC testing into lesson plans. These memos assist teachers in the preparation for the upcoming PARC. And then all 5 district schools are compiling data, analyzing the information for staff to utilize the information, track, adjust goals, and lesson plans for the teacher. This will be instrumental in providing real-time tracking of the educational needs of the students. District-wide common planning sessions have been taking place and have been well attended. The New Teacher Initiative is a program for new teachers to be monitored and participate in discussions and professional development. Last Monday at Wallace, 40 teachers attended the meeting, and the program will help develop new teachers and ensure they have the best resources to educate their students. And that's what we talked about.
Thank you. Governance and Personnel, Ms. Evans?
Okay, so the Governance and Personnel Committee met last Wednesday, October 8th, from 10:30 a.m. till 1:30 p.m. In attendance were myself, Dr. Brickell, Mr. Gagliardi, Dr. Gold, Dr. Hernandez, Mr. Moffat, Ms. Tyroller, and Ms. Sobolov. Mr. Gagliardi updated us on pending legal matters, and the committee reviewed all the agenda items for governance and personnel. I did want to mention a couple items, particularly for folks who like to attend these meetings, and also for all the parents. We have a couple calendar changes. The 2014-2015 district calendar has been revised to account for changes from the contract that was recently negotiated between the board and the HEA. In particular, we will see the addition of 2 days of parent-teacher conferences. And the first of these conference days is next Wednesday, October 22nd. There will be a 1 o'clock dismissal for students, and parent-teacher conferences will follow. Wednesday, November 4th will now be a full day. And in the new year, Friday, January 16th will also be a full day. And then the second parent-teacher conference day will be Wednesday, February 4th. That day will be no school for students, professional development for teachers until 1 o'clock, followed by parent-teacher conferences after that. And then finally, this is item 926. This is the relocation of our board meetings to the Demarest Auditorium. This move has the benefits of having the meetings being held in a larger, more centrally located venue. The move will require an investment of about $6,000. However, given that there is a cost associated every time these meetings are moved to the Wallace Gymnasium to accommodate a larger audience, this move will pay for itself over time. And that's my report.
Thank you. Facilities and Wellness, Ms. Mitchell? Oh, I'm going to do you last.
Second.
Because you get to congratulate the Red Wings.
Facilities and Wellness Committee met on Wednesday, October 8th. The attendees were myself as chair, Irene Sobolov, Monica Stromwell, Leon Gold, Tim Callaghy, the director of facilities, John Peproda, and Brian Beatty from Sodexo. In food service, John Peproda reported the breakfast costs have declined since the district is now charging for meals to the full-pay students. That's for the breakfast. We requested that Sodexo provide a report that compares the previous year's month to the current year's month to better visualize the revenue from year to year. John Peproda reported that half school days affect revenue. He stated that many high school students leave for half day and do not stay for lunch, even though, say, lunch is prepared. The committee suggested serving cold lunches on scheduled half days to avoid waste. A reminder to this is just a reminder to hungry high school students that if they want another portion of lunch, the cost is $2. It's not double the cost of the lunch. They will not be charged a full lunch price. The committee requested that Sodexo sponsor another health fair, and we requested that their account executive attend the next several committee meetings. In facilities at Wallace, we're waiting for the approval from the city for a permit to install a new generator, and it should be installed in about a couple of weeks. But some really good news for Brant is the project was fast-tracked by the SDA, and we have our notice to proceed. In early November, the project should be out to bid for contractors, and we expect to be fully reimbursed for the scaffolding from day one.
Yay.
So really happy. That's from 2012. So that's really good news. I think that concludes.
Thank you.
Athletics and Performing Arts was held on October 8th. In attendance was myself, Dr. Hernandez, Jennifer Evans, Jean Marie Mitchell, and Dr. Gold. In athletics, student participation was in the fall sports was discussed, and the girls' soccer team was discussed. They are in the 4th seed in the county tournament, so congrats to them. Yay! Performing arts, the drama club recently attended the Paper Mill Playhouse production of Can Can. They got a discount. They have a group rate there. On Friday, October 17th, the drama club will hold a family movie night open to the community at Hoboken High School. Pizza dinner is at 5 p.m. and the movie's at 6. I can't tell you the name of the movie, but it's I know, I'm not allowed to say that. Thursday, October 30th, the Drama Club will hold another one of their popular children's theater workshops at Wallace. It's a fundraiser, but also a nice opportunity for the high school students to meet with the younger elementary school students and kind of show them the joys of theater. Students involved in the new Backstage Club have been very busy behind the scenes at the high school. They've been cleaning out all the rooms and reusing and recycling and rebuilding a lot of the scenery and the sets and getting that ready for the next production, which is Grease coming up. Now, this wasn't discussed at the meeting, but I wanted to just mention 2 things. Actually, 1 thing. Maybe it's 2. At the football games, I just wanted to say that the team is doing really well. We're 4-1. Yay for the Red Wings. But I really want to encourage people to come out because the band is amazing and the cheerleading squad is just phenomenal. I wanted to really congratulate Miss Arnaud and Miss Rosmaster on really doing an amazing job with the cheerleaders. They do a fabulous halftime show. It's really a great thing. The homecoming game is October 24th, so everybody can come out to that. And congrats again to the Lady Red Wings softball team.
Thank you. Okay, and just for my president's report, I received a wonderful email this past month that I wanted to share with the community. It's from a resident who does not have school-aged children, and it's from her mother. Honey, I have just read an article in the Sierra Club, The Jersey Sierran, with the above title, Inner Cities Outings Coordinator. It was interesting and I was impressed. It is about 15 Hoboken High School students on a hike in Harriman State Park. I was impressed. The teacher was not named except that she is a science teacher and a Sierra Club member. If you happen to know who she is, please tell her that I was impressed with the article and her leadership. Love and kisses, Mom. Well, it so happens that I received the Jersey Sierran. I am also a Sierra Club member. And this mom is absolutely right. It's a lovely article about 15 of our students that are in a club in Ms. Pick's school, and the teacher didn't mention her name, when this gentleman was interviewing them. And it's just another lovely example of one of our wonderful teachers who comes up with ideas to broaden the horizons of our children. And tonight, most of you were here, but for those that missed it, we recognize the great accomplishments of another great district teacher, Mr. Matone, who amongst tough competition is now New Jersey Teacher of the Year. And what everyone knows is true is that where there is one, there are many. And not to diminish Mr. Matone's accomplishments, but his award could only be attained in an environment that nurtures teachers and staff and has high expectations of its employees. So when we awarded Mr. Matone District Teacher of the Year, and he humbly accepted his award, and I said this earlier, he honored all the aides and teachers and support staff that work with him as the major contributions to why he was able to win the award. So I just wanted to say, not only, representing the whole board, we honor and congratulate Mark Matone, the New Jersey Teacher of the Year, and we honor all the teachers, aides, support staff, and administration for being part of the community that produces a New Jersey Teacher of the Year. So this is it's to everyone. So with that, we will have questions from the board about reports. Mrs. Rhodes-Kearns, do you have any questions?
No, I just wanted to say that I told you last month I would have a special education committee report.
Oh, I'm so sorry,
But that's
Fran.
okay because they didn't meet, they
okay.
rescheduled so that everybody could meet at the convention. So it's going to be that and the
Okay.
legislative delegate one. Both of them were rescheduled for
Okay,
that. So it'll be
okay,
October
okay, so now I
28th.
don't feel bad.
Right, okay. Remember that for the November meeting.
Okay. Any questions on reports?
Yeah.
Fran?
Oh.
On any of the reports? Okay, Mr. Biancamano?
Thank you, Madam President. Dr. Burkell, we surely have been making some progress in our test scores, and I'm so glad for your report tonight in terms of the improvement we've made on the NJ Ask and the HESPA. But unfortunately, as we know, these tests are going away, and fortunately for some members of the state, and we're moving towards the park. And I know normally, and you certainly have much more experience than I do when it comes to this, when you're switching from one standardized test to another standardized test, normally test scores decrease after that. So I was just curious, do you feel that the district is ready for the decrease? I know we've been passing all this training for teachers and things like that, so I was just curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I can just say that, we made that one of the district goals to really focus on that and get that moving along, continue the preparation that had begun last year already. I feel pretty confident right now that we're doing the right thing. We do, one of our supervisors gives out to the whole staff a memo every Monday on all stuff having to do with park. We have the teachers constantly working, going to staff development having to do with park. You're right when you say that a lot of times when you change from one test to the other, the scores decrease. But I feel very confident that we're going to see some good results
That's
when
great,
park
especially
comes around.
since we've finally seen some progress on our HESPA and NJ Ask, and it'll be a shame to see all the good work the teachers have done and switching to a different standardized test. Just one more comment. In terms of the CUSAC District Improvement Plan, I know that the state said that it was satisfactory, but I was just curious if you can actually send. I was a little. I didn't see the plan in our backup in tonight's agenda.
Right.
So-
Those are what we developed, our internal management procedures. Which aren't really. It's like me sending a memo to the staff, a directive to do something. So I covered the 5 basic areas for the board, and all you really need to know is that it was approved, and the state obviously thinks we're doing something right in terms of the procedures that we're planning.
Right. Okay. But yeah, at the same time, I still would like to see the full plan, and I understand that the state approved it, but
Right.
obviously, I know you mentioned the 5 points.
You're talking about the original DPR, the
Correct.
review?
Yes.
I can have that to the board.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Ms. Mitchell? Any questions from reports?
No, I'm good.
Ms.
Yeah,
Silva?
I have a question for Dr. Burkell. Dr. Burkell, you mentioned in your report, so this was your report to us about the standardized test scores that were from last year, right? So that they come this year. And so I just wanted to be clear, I'm curious about one of the scores. So the high school, the HESPAs were increased, right? Graduation rate is up, the AP scores are up, and attendance is up. And you didn't mention it this time, but I think I remember you saying that the SAT scores were up too. I think that was in another report that we had.
Just take a look, if I skipped that or not.
But so I was curious to compare that with the CUSAC, because when we talked last time about the CUSAC score, that's more about the curriculum delivery, not necessarily the standardized test scores that we received.
Yeah, no, the
And-
SATs were not in this report.
Okay, right. So the CUSAC score that we received is more about the curriculum delivery and those internal things, not necessarily about the scores that we took, which all seem to have been increasing, especially in the high school.
Each
right?
area in the CUSAC has a point allocation towards it. For example, one of the achievement areas for testing might have had 10 points.
Mhm.
And you can't get a 6, you can't get an 8, you can't get a 4. You either get the 10,
1 or 10.
or 0.
Right.
All right? And so some of the achievement did go into the score that we achieved, but it's mostly the way the curriculum is delivered, what teachers brought to the table, if they knew where the curriculum was for 100% of the time. Are we using the Common Core correctly? What we bring to the table, I think, had more to do with it, and that's why what we've addressed is
Those are those
ways-
5 things that you told
Right,
us.
ways to make sure that we're doing what we can, which will ultimately then improve the test scores.
Well, I'm excited to hear about the high school. It seems,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, those
Great
indicators there, the AP, the graduation, the attendance,
Absolutely.
and the HESPA. Very nice. Thank you. Graduation. Very nice, yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Gold, do you have any questions on reports now? Ms. Strommel? No? Ms. Evans?
No.
Mr. Clubfeld? And I just wanted to, Mr. Moffett, the acronym from the state is also OFAC, O-F-A-C?
OFAC, correct.
Because
Office of
that's
Capital
also,
Compliance.
in securities, that's the Office of Foreign Asset Control, which is a little bit different, but I found that interesting. And I just wanted to mention two things that about the park. I just wanted the public to remember that we were a beta site for park. So hopefully being a beta site will also assist us and our children with the test this spring. And Ms. Evans, I just want to mention also to the public that we did talk in governance about utilizing the robocall system extensively to remind parents about the changes to the calendar. There's certainly beneficial changes to the calendar, but no change is beneficial if you don't know what's happening, right? So we did discuss that to make sure that robocalls go out, and I apologize when they're annoying, but I still think it's always better to get 2 reminders than 0 reminders. So that's closes questions on report. Okay, one more.
More comments. Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just so excited to hear that, I know I've been a broken record about this, but the scaffolding outside Brand School that is going to be reimbursed in full. And I want to commend the administrators and my fellow board members that have worked on this because, like I said, I've been a broken record. Just out of curiosity, Mr. Moffett, maybe you can assist me with this. We're preparing the bids tonight. By the first week in November, we should have a architect of record to start the work.
Well, I'd have to get you the timeline, but what you're authorizing tonight is the ability of the architect to continue to do work with the department to, as far as planning documents, budget statements, those type of things they're still working on. But that will grow into the idea that we could go out and bid. Again, we're waiting for, as was stated earlier today, that we're waiting for that notice to proceed to get our hands on that. And,
so we are still a few months away then from actual seeing physical work on the facade of the building.
I think my office, including Tim Callaghan, because he does a lot of work in this area, we have our fingers crossed. Hopefully we move forward as fast as we can.
Okay, great. And as long as the SDA has continued to say that they're going to keep reimbursing us for the scaffolding up, because I know the current contract for the scaffolding ends in December, so I just know it's going to be more money out of our pockets after December if that scaffolding is still up. So
I too was very happy to see that they're still pursuing that, because we are as well.
Okay, great. And I commend your office for that. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll relay that.
Okay, so with that, we will go to comments from the audience on agenda items. I see a last-minute signer there, but that's okay.
Agenda.
So this is comments on agenda items. There's the other session at the end, which is general comments about whatever you're interested in talking about.
We have 3 speakers listed tonight.
We have 3 speakers listed. Ms. Waiters, are you trying to come up and sign the agenda items?
Ms.
You're good?
Waiters is the
Okay.
first speaker.
Okay, so 3 speakers, then let's get started. Call the first speaker.
Patricia Waiters.
And,
Patricia Waiters, page 3/31. Approval with recommendation of the superintendent. This is the new superintendent to approve the minutes. Can he approve the minutes if he wasn't here? Or he could just recommend, he's recommending it, right? He's not, okay. Next page, page 4/31. The revisions. This is just for first reading. You're not gonna vote on this tonight. So 4 different policies. You're not voting, this is just first reading? I just want clarification. All right, for emergency hiring on page 631. To reach out to the county superintendent of schools for an application for emergency hiring. Did this take place already? For the early childhood specialist? For $67,000? 6/31. I have a quick question. Was this the position that Ms. Capola held? I was a member with you, Jennifer, on the early childhood, and it says early childhood specialist. Is that filling the vacancy of Ms. Capola?
No.
No, that's not the same position?
No.
So this is a new position that's created, they need a specialist?
Remember, I'm sorry, but protocol, just ask all the things you want to ask, and then if he'll...
I just don't want to lose my chain of thought, because I circled the word emergency for emergency hiring, and so many people just got laid off. That's why I'm saying it says emergency hiring.
That's fine.
I don't want to lose my chain of thought, but yes, I will like answers for that.
I think those are the eights.
$67,000, that could have been a couple of bus drivers saved. The high school musical. I stood at this microphone, and I don't want to be accused either of anti-Miss Miller. I'm asking a question. This is just a question. I see all the stipends down the road, but even when Miss Oldhouse was the theater director, most of these things was volunteer, where people just volunteered, like the seamstress or whatever. Is this new?
No.
So, there's always been stipends for the... And the last two volunteers, I see. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Waiters. Next speaker, Mr. Moffitt?
Yeah, Mr. Brian Murray.
Good evening, Brian Murray, 1100 Maxwell Lane. The agenda item I want to discuss is 9.13, the approval of the revised school calendar. It's my understanding that the calendar only gets revised and approved if you vote for it this evening. Is that correct? Yeah. Because the new calendar is already up on the BOE website, and it's already being announced on the board website, and I've also gotten a notice from the school about it. So if this is actually where you're voting for it, then how can it be already advertised? And secondly, about the revised calendar, my experience is that anytime I've needed a parent-teacher conference, the teachers bend over backwards to make time in the morning, at lunchtime, after school. I mean, they're great, every single one of them, about managing their schedule to allow parents to come. The parent-teacher conferences that are being scheduled, doing a little bit of rough math, if a teacher has about 45 kids between their 2 or 3 classes, that would allow about 7 kids or 7 parents to get talked to during the 2 hours and 20 minutes. Now, that parent-teacher conference and the change in the schedule where we're basically getting a day off or a 1 o'clock dismissal with no daycare is happening 7 days from tomorrow morning. Now that's 7 days. Now just to give you an example, when we had a debate last week, Monica and her slate weren't able to make it with 2 weeks notice. And now you want thousands of parents to be able to reshuffle their schedule, and they're going to have to reschedule their schedules in 7 days. I mean, there's people who have sitters that work at a certain time, that rely on the aftercare that's not going to be there, that do third-party providers. Now this is thousands of parents who have to rejigger their schedule in 7 days. I don't think it's fair to the parents, any of the parents. I mean, it's one thing to push this to November or December, but 7 days? I'm sorry. I think that you should table that particular day off until you can give the parents some more notice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. Next speaker?
The next and last speaker is Jason Yoon Hendricks.
Is it 5 minutes?
It's 5 minutes.
Good evening. Jason Yoon Hendricks, Monroe Street.
just a few comments and one or two quick questions. So regarding the move of the meeting, thank you for moving the board meetings to Demarest. As a downtowner, I really appreciate the more central location. So it will be interesting to see if the new environment leads to a new atmosphere at the meetings, but we'll see about that, I guess. And then I wanted to just make a couple of comments and ask a question or two about the test scores. So the NJ Ask scores, overall it seems like there's some really good improvement here, and it goes across grades too. And the thing I always look at when I look at these partial proficiency to proficient numbers is, did it possibly come at the expense of the advanced proficient? So did those numbers go down? And in most cases here, both of the numbers go up, which is a great thing. That means everyone's moving in an upward direction. There's a couple exceptions, but overall that seems to be the case. So the one area it seems that the kids are struggling is it's sort of that first hop. And so one of the questions I would be interested in hearing the superintendent's thoughts on is whether this is, if there's any pattern that's seen in other districts or in general, if this is sort of a process of kids learning how to take tests, which is a challenge with standardized tests at all age levels, I can say from my own experience with my own kids. I also wanted to comment on the APs off of a comment you'd made, sir. So I looked at this stuff quite a bit when my kids were going to school, and they, for those who don't know, my children graduated Hoboken High School last year, and the things to know about the AP testing in this school is that the majority of districts out there, not just in New Jersey, but nationwide, do not require AP exams for students that take AP classes. And in Hoboken High School, they do. And the district, the school, does it at their own risk if you can call the risk of poor test results a risk to educators, as so many educators these days do, I'm sure. In other words, any kids that are in the AP classes have to take the exams, which if you compare that to a district where it's optional, the kids that tend to take the tests when it's optional are the kids that are advanced, are higher level performers, really want to take those tests to show their stuff for college, which is not in any way to diminish the students that take the classes themselves and don't take tests, but at Hoboken High School you have to take the test. And so for us to be performing, scoring 3s and above at a level comparable to most other districts, when we require all the students to take the test, that is quite impressive indeed, in my opinion. I'm not an educator, but it's just a statistics thing, I think. And the other thing I just wanted to mention is the reason most districts don't require it is because there is a cost. And it's a cost that in most districts, the students have to bear themselves. They have to pay for the AP test themselves, but not at Hoboken High School, not in our district. Those costs are covered, and that is a good thing. And I just wanted to also mention that my understanding is indeed that the SAT scores were up last year versus the previous year. And here again, it's perhaps a benefit of the guidance counselor or the guidance department and their very sort of active role that they play in testing and encouraging the kids. But here again, SATs are encouraged for all students. Again, there's a common, not often discussed, but common pattern in other districts to encourage certain students to take SATs, but kids, and you don't need to take them. There's a lot of college options available for not taking them. But again, at Hoboken High School, it was my experience that everybody was encouraged. There are vouchers available to kids to cover costs for those SAT classes. And again, my children who attended all 4 years at Hoboken High School really benefited from all of that and from the great teachers you keep talking about tonight. And now they're off at college. Jamie at Cal State, Fullerton, and Alex at UC Berkeley. Woo! Thank you very much.
Empty nest, huh, Jason? Okay, so that finished our agenda comments. Thank you. So now, first, Dr. Brickell, let's just reiterate for the public the item that you're pulling from the agenda.
I'm recommending to the board that we pull item 9.12
Okay.
for further review and discussion.
Okay. And would anyone like to, board members, trustees, pull an item for discussion and separate vote? And if, for discussion, okay, so anyone have an item they want to pull for separate vote? No?
I do.
Then for separate vote? Okay, and that would be Fran?
Okay, that would be 9.02, number 1.
Oh, well, we pull the whole, the whole item.
9.12, Fran, you just.
9.02.
Nine, so we'll pull nine, but we'll pull the whole one, but
Just
then
the
people
item
will
number
know
one
that
is
we'll,
separate vote. Yeah.
but we'll pull the whole thing, but then it'll be
Okay,
in there for
fine.
you, okay? And now, and so other than that, we'll be doing a consent agenda on the other items. Would anybody like to, let's have comments from the board, we'll go once each, one time each to have comments, and then we'll vote on the consent agenda, and then we'll discuss the.
Okay, but I have other items.
Yeah, we're gonna have a
No, we're
motion.
gonna- Wait,
Motion.
Fran
Oh,
still
I'm
has
sorry.
items.
Should we
What
have a
about the
motion?
items that we just want pulled?
We're gonna talk about those two separately.
Separately, that's what I have some of those.
Okay, so first we're gonna, I'm sorry, Vito, am I doing something wrong?
I'm sure you're not. So just while we have, before you have discussion, you should have the motion in a second, so.
Oh.
So to the extent, whether it's Ms. Booker or anyone else, they're free to comment, right, which is, I think, the point. So you can make the motion for the consent agenda except for item 9.02, motion made, second, you can have discussion, you can raise your questions, and then you can vote on the consent agenda, and then handle item.
And Mr. Gagliardi, we're allowed to comment on any agenda item that belongs under the consent agenda, correct?
That's the subject of the motion, that's the point, yes, sir.
Perfect, okay.
But the motion, you can comment on it once it's on the floor, that's what I'm talking about.
Excellent.
Actually, and I'm actually gonna dial back, and I'm glad I didn't do that. Does anyone have want to comment or address any of the items brought up at the podium? I apologize to those. Would anyone
at the
like to,
podium?
but first let me ask Dr. Brickell, would you like to address any items raised at the podium? No?
From the members of the public?
Yeah, let's
I
do that
would.
first.
I
So
would,
we're gonna go, once again, we're gonna go down the line.
Okay.
This way and then that way and then with me. So, Ms. Rose Kearns?
Okay, to answer Ms. Wader's question about the appointment that's on the agenda, 9.02, item number 1, you had a question. That's because that position was vacated unexpectedly, I believe, in September, right? Yeah, September, and that's, I guess, what the emergency would be for. I just want to clarify this for her.
The
or-
emergency.
No, the word emergency is always in every personnel issue because of the fingerprinting that we have to go through. So it's an emergent hiring, so to speak.
Okay, but the person did leave in September, correct? And we needed this position.
Yes.
So it existed, it's not a new position.
Mr. Biancamano?
Yes, Mr. Murray brought up a point about the district calendar. And the revised district calendar is on the district website. It's been sent out to parents and others. And we did not vote on it. So I was just curious, why is it up before we actually vote on the new district calendar?
Well, it went up pending board approval because of the juxtaposition of the date, the first date for the conference, and when it was revised. So we figured that the best thing to do was to get the notice out to parents as quickly as we could.
Madam Chair?
Well, wait, we're
Okay.
going in order. Is that, anything else, Mr. Biancamano? That was your only comment? Okay. Ms. Mitchell, any comments? No? Ms.
Well, I
Sobola?
just wanted to mention about the theater. There always were the stipends. In fact, we've kind of redid the stipends a little bit because the students do a lot of the stuff now, the backstage and the prop masters and that kind of thing. And Miss Miller has done, I think last year, $20,000 worth of fundraising. So she puts that towards the plays also. So I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. Dr. Gold?
The calendar change is a direct result from the union negotiations. The union negotiations was approved by the entire board. Also, the union negotiations allow for extra time with the parents, and the teachers are spending more time. So to criticize us for providing fewer time with the parents, actually we're spending more time with the parents. So I would take the bet that the board would approve something based on union negotiations they already approved. So I think it's good that we're voting on it, but I think that the board would approve it. So that's the reason.
Thank you, Mr. Gold. Ms. Stromwell, any comments? No? Ms. Evans?
No.
Mr. Kupfel? And I just wanted to also highlight another advantage of the Demers move for the board meeting, not only that it's a larger venue and we wouldn't have to move the meetings at a cost when we're anticipating a big crowd, but it also means that this room that we're sitting in becomes a dedicated classroom for music again, which has always been my reason for preferring to move the meeting. Because even though, she carefully moves her things all to the side, I do think that she probably worries on one Tuesday a month, making sure she's put everything away, and so that, not that I'm accusing anybody of touching her things, I'm certainly not, but if you forget your pen, you feel a temptation and you have to resist. So I think everybody has to realize that too, that is really the primary reason why I think it's a good idea. And also the fact that the Demers building is becoming an education center for the district with all the pre-K children in it. And, as our enrollment goes up, we don't know, we should have people be familiar with that building again as a district building. So, and it's a space that is a lovely space that's perfect for this. And also, with the calendar, it was discussed, and and there was actually that exact discussion in committee, which was, we had to vote on it, but we need to get this out right away. And as Dr. Gold pointed out, it was based out of negotiations, and we actually made the decision, could we post it and putting that awaiting, pending board approval, so that at least people had as much notice as possible. And that the conferences themselves that day, I believe the teachers are here till 4 or 5 that day for conferences. So it's actually longer than just the one to the close of the regular school day. So those were I just wanted to clarify those items. So
I move the consent agenda.
Second.
Second by Dr. Gold. Dr. Gold, second?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now what we'll be doing is first we'll be voting on do we get first discussion on the consent agenda. So not the item that was polled for a separate vote. So
So I can
Yes.
my other items now?
you can discuss your other items.
Okay. 7.01, policies, particularly the one for evaluation of individual student performance. Vito, this question is for you. I hope you can answer it. This is a mandated policy by the New Jersey school boards, correct? That we all have to adopt?
Well, New Jersey school boards can mandate.
Oh, can't mandate, but I mean, the policy is suggested by them, the way it's written. Right, recommended. Okay, are we adopting that word for word as they suggested? Because there's one sentence in there that I haven't, I just want to make sure that this is their suggestion and that we're not putting this sentence in there. I just want clarification. Can I read it to you?
You can, but I'm not going to review these policies.
Okay, well, maybe somebody on the board, on the committee, maybe?
Vito, if I can answer that, Fran. I think I know what you're referring to.
Right.
That particular sentence is not only in the new one, but it was also in the one that we've had on record.
It's always been.
It's always
That's what
been.
I wanted to make sure, so it's nothing new, it's always been there.
It's always been there.
Okay. You want me to know what it, you want to know what it says? Okay. The chief school administrator shall have the right to review, dispute grades, and with board approval to adjust them. Because I didn't know in the past that he needed, the superintendent needed approval from us to adjust them. I think they made those decisions, adjusting the grades without it. That's why I asked if that's something new, because I felt like it was a little micromanaging for the board. That was my concern, that was my only concern.
If I may, Madam President.
Yes.
So, again, I wasn't asked to read this policy, but I can answer your question now that you read it out loud. So the typical handling of that issue is, as you articulated, that is, it would be reviewed by the chief school administrator, who has that authority, quite frankly, whether you put it in your policy or not. And then if the parents are dissatisfied, to appeal it to the board. So it's not unlawful, but it would be unusual to have the board's approval necessary for the chief school administrator to modify the grades. Now, my understanding, of course, is this is for your first reading.
Okay.
So to the extent you're looking for my input, I would suggest that you follow the practice that is, in my experience, universal, which is that the board sits as an appellate body, and that the chief school administrator does not need the board's approval to adjust the grade.
Right.
If parents feel aggrieved after the superintendent does what the superintendent does, he's your educational leader, right? Then, as with any other issue, academic, disciplinary, etc., parents have the right of appeal to the board and beyond the board, of course, to the Commissioner of Education.
Right, that's what I probably prefer, that it said, and can appeal to the board, something like that. I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
and you know, certainly I can dialogue.
Well, this is the first reading, like you said, so maybe this is something
Exactly.
for thought.
It was the first reading.
But how long
Okay.
has that been on the books for? A long time.
So I'm happy to discuss it further, but that's my thoughts.
Okay, so, yes, and thank you, Ms. McQuillan, for looking it up to see if it was the same, et cetera.
Thank
That was
you.
helpful.
Yeah.
Actually, you got all three of them. You got what New Jersey School Board
Right,
gave us, and then you got what we used to have, and then the new one. But
Right.
it's all the same sentence.
right,
Okay.
I just had a little issue with that. I didn't want to be
Okay.
micromanaging
And,
our superintendent in that
Everybody wants to do
area.
it.
And for the public to know, it's a first reading, so this is, we can vote,
Right.
you're voting yes, but just on reading it once, and then it goes back up. And others, Fran?
Yeah, there's another one. Number 9.01. Again, many resignations on here. Two that I'm particularly concerned with is the resignation of the principal's park program at Connors School. In the report, we just heard that how important the park is going to be. It's heavily aligned with the core curriculum. Do we have a replacement for that? Will we have?
Yes.
Number five. I didn't say it. Number 5 on, I didn't number 5 on that.
That's an after school program
Right,
for the park, right?
right, exactly.
Right.
In Connors.
We have posted for a replacement.
Okay,
He had to rescind his employee for personal reasons.
okay. So how, I don't know, how long would that take before that could be filled? Because the first park is gonna be when? The first park for Connors will be taken when?
They're gonna start after the after school program
Okay.
in the near future. I don't know the
Okay,
exact date.
Yeah, that's my concern.
Can people please refrain from talking in the audience? Thank you.
Okay, all right, so we're already doing that? Sure, okay.
Posted.
Great. And number 8, our gifted and talented teacher has resigned. Okay,
He's taking another job as a high school administrator. So,
but not in our district.
no, not in our district, but he's advancing himself.
But not in our district. Okay, great.
Excellent teacher.
All right,
He will be missed.
okay. Again, I'm hoping that we see less and less of this type of resignations happening, and that's why I would encourage our board to offer our interim superintendent a possible 2-year contract. I love the stability you're bringing to the district, that's why.
Ms. Rose Kearns, is that, go ahead.
It's the advisory committee,
Which one is that from?
the new advisory committee. I don't know what number it is, right, no, here it is. 9.18, approval of district evaluation advisory committee.
Excuse me for a minute. Members of the audience, can you please try not to speak? If you need to discuss something, everybody, I'm looking at everybody. If you need to have a conversation, please go outside. It's hard for us to hear. Because
What number was that from?
9.18, approval of district evaluation advisory committee. And I just have a question of how these appointments came about, because I never received an email as a board member, asking if I'd be interested, and how was this decision made? Not that I'm saying I had the time or whatever, but there's other board members here who aren't on a committee and maybe could have been part of that. I don't know when they meet, how it works, but can you just explain how we came to that decision of who the board members are that are assigned?
I can't really say that I know the answer to that, other than the expression of interest by the board members. This is a required thing from NJ Achieve that we have to do in line with all the evaluations and the new curriculum. And you have to have a representative from each building, so that, that this is a committee that will meet every month to determine whether or not we're doing the right thing here. And it's commonly known as the DIAC.
Right.
But again, I think it was the expression of interest on certain board members' part.
Yeah, actually, Dr. Hernandez asked me.
Okay,
And I
all
said
right,
yes.
Dr. Hernandez, but I didn't receive an email even knowing about this.
No, I was there because you weren't coming in
There was
that
gonna be a
day.
selection process for it. I'm not saying I would want to be on it, but it would be nice to receive the communications about communicating and then, involving all of us, and, I think that might be a better process for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Biancamano?
Yes. 2 comments
Okay.
on 2 agenda items. 10.08, the approval of contracts. Mr. Moffitt, PEC. Correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand, we're getting an environmental company in to clean the contaminated soil under Denver School, or to continue to clean the contaminated soil under Denver School?
Now, if you're referring to the one contract that we have listed, it's to potentially monitor the site and remediate if required. My understanding, as reported to me, when the underground storage tank was removed, there was nothing left, residual issues that were left behind that we would have to monitor any differently. What the purchase order basically will cover is on an as-needed basis. So if it's a service that we need at the time, as they monitor the environmental factors, they'll have like a standby type relationship with us, and that we could go to them. If it is not expended, by the end of the year, that money will become available not only for redistribution with our own budget, but it also could fall into our surplus.
And from what I understand, the state is mandating that we get an environmental company to come in and remediate the property.
Yeah, we're required to.
So it's $20,000. So I'm just curious, since we're getting reimbursed for the scaffolding now at Brand School, is there any way we can be reimbursed for this? Are we qualified to, since it is mandated from the state?
I will explore that, absolutely. It is a separate issue because it has been identified through the Department of Environmental Protection Agency, so it's a little different as far as regulations, but I'll definitely explore the option.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. Thank you. And then my second question, it has to do with 10.18 and 10.19 about the aftercare tuition rates for Wallace and Calabro. And I was just curious, I know this came up in a recent article in the Reporter. Would it be possible to have an aftercare program at Connors? We're approving Wallace and Calabro tonight, and I don't see Connors on here.
Connors has one. We have one there.
It's already, but it's only 3 times a week, I believe, correct?
Yes.
You are looking at expansion, okay. I just hoped for This way it could be a district-wide after-school program instead of just having select schools for 5 days a
And
week.
they say parent paid.
Right.
They're
No,
both
right.
parent paid.
Right, I'm just saying.
Right,
You
these
can
are-
offer it
yes.
at Conner School as well.
But they-
5 days instead of 3 days. So. Okay, great. Thank you.
Ms. Mitchell, questions? No. Ms. Sobel? Dr. Gold? Ms. Drummond? Ms. Evans? Mr. Cookville? Okay, so we will now,
Do we need
Take-
another motion?
I'll call roll.
Tom motioned it.
Motion, seconded by Dr. Gold. So we're all ready to go. I can take a roll call.
So we'll do the vote on the consent.
Mr. Biancamano?
No on all the minutes, 6.01, 6.02, 6.03, 6.04. No on 9.26. No on 9.13. And yes on everything else.
Ms. Evans?
Abstain on 6.02 and yes on everything else.
Dr. Gold?
Yes.
Mr. Cluffell?
I need to abstain on 6.04 and then yes on everything else.
Duly noted. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodes Kearns?
No on all the minutes. Now, this does not include the one that I pulled, right, off the agenda?
No, it does not.
And here it is. And no on 9.13.
And I'll note yes on all others.
And yes on all the others, correct.
Ms. Sobolov?
I need to abstain on some of the minutes, and I think I have all the dates right here. July 8th, July 15th, July 17th, and August 7th, the closed session. Can I make a comment? Is it now we're having a comment before the vote? Or no? Yeah? I just really wanted to, because it's about the minutes. But maybe not a year ago, I think we changed the format of the minutes, and the minutes are more just action items now. This was resolved, this was voted on. And there's a piece of the minutes that directs people to go to the board video, which is now lives online on the district website, which I think is awesome, because then I think it saves a great deal of administrative time and time and money and expense making these giant detailed minutes. You just have these very quick and easy minutes, and then you can go right to the tape and see everything yourself. So I need to abstain on those, and yes on everything else.
Duly noted. Ms. Stromwell?
Yes.
And Ms. Tyroller?
Yes. So can I have a motion to discuss and vote on the pulled item, which is
9.02.
9.02?
I have it listed and noted at 9.02. Is that correct, Madam President?
Yes.
I move it.
Second.
Second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I read.
Irene?
Yeah.
Okay, so motion by Mr. Cluffell, seconded by Ms. Sobolov. Shall I call roll? Do you want to just?
Can we,
What's the separate vote?
To vote separately.
yeah, can we just comment when we vote, or
Yeah.
is that fine? Okay, so call the vote?
Mr. Biancamano?
This is for the whole agenda item, not just number one.
It's for the whole
Correct.
agenda item
Okay.
9.02.
It's yes on everybody, no on number one.
Ms. Evans?
Yes.
Dr. Gold?
I find it so ironic that we're being accused of micromanaging when I'm going to take the advice of our administration for personnel selection, and a number of board members aren't. So to accuse the majority of being micromanagers just absolutely amazes me. Yes.
Mr. Cluffell?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodes Kearns?
902, 9.02, yes on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. So that ends there.
Keep going.
And On number 1, I am voting no because I will give a reason. I feel uncomfortable about the information I was given. I am not comfortable with it, so I am voting no.
What about the rest of them?
That's it.
Ms. Rose
On
Kearns?
number 1, I'm voting no.
You
there's-
you
you
mentioned
missed the whole
Ms.
page.
Sue through
You missed
eight.
half a page of,
Would you like me just to record yes on all else?
no, you didn't, we didn't, but,
Okay.
okay.
Yes on all else.
Thank you, John.
Ms. Sobolov,
Yes.
Ms. Stromwall,
Yes.
and Ms. Tyroller.
Yes. So that concludes our vote on the agenda. Now we will move to public comment. Public comment on, it's open public comment. So, Mr. Moffett, how many commenters do we have?
I have 9 listed.
9 listed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so public, just, you do have the opportunity to speak for 5 minutes, but there are 9 of you, so, So can you please call the first person?
Sandra Smith.
And I'm going to hold my finger up to indicate 1 minute left.
Oh, okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't been here in a long time. My name is Sandra Smith. I live at 320 Harrison and Housing Authority. I'm the Vice President of the Tenant Association of Housing Authority. My concern is about my grandson. He goes to Hoboken High. He's a senior this year. I don't know what your policy, and I had my daughter to go to the superintendent and to ask why do this new thing with the athletic about the sports, about if they play consecutive time of sports they can't play. Well, he didn't play in the 9th grade, he didn't play in the 10th, so the 11th he played, and he's a senior. So my concern is the kids are in the school, they love Hoboken High, they doing the best that they can, so they look forward to playing sports. But then when you tell them that, oh, I can't play sports because you played 3 times, or you play executive this time and that, it's like slapping the kids on the head like, wow, they can't do anything. And I just advise that the kids should have some kind of activities going on. What they have to do, just sit around, and then that's what causes fights. That's what children starts with, getting into little mystic stuff. And then, it starts confusion going on in the school. They, fight among each other. That's one. The other one is your bus service. I hate to say that I was here at Wallace School when y'all fired or laid off, either or, the people for the bus service. This new bus service, I hate to tell you, it kind of stink. I was outside not too long ago, and your bus had let out a young child that has HDAD and has abilities that if you would tell a child, well, stay right here, go upstairs, no. He let the child out and told the child to walk in the 4 projects to go upstairs. Now, his aunt lives up on the 10th floor. Now, I'm walking outside because I have a little baby. The lady that saw the child, he's telling the child, the bus, that he had to go somewhere else, but they drop him off. The lady on the bus telling him, no, he told the lady at the aide on the bus, shut up and be quiet. Now, that child is young. He's very hyper and everything. Why in the world the bus don't make sure that somebody's outside to pick up that child? I said to myself, the other lady, she didn't come, but I was a witness. And I said, the next time that it's happened, because I be outside, I'm going to get a camera and I'm going to start taking pictures. Pictures tell it all. then you know what, I'm gonna bring it to you and I'm gonna let you see, because right now you need to get the Hoboken bus drivers, the people, the aides that was on the bus to work with our children, because you got a lot of kids with HDAD abilities that you can't just let them go in the building, because God forbid if the elevator breaks down, if they get stuck in between, how a child is going to be able to unlock the elevators? If nobody's not outside, you should at least wait and see if somebody's outside to pick up the child, or circle back around, or you should have a phone number listed for that child to be there. These are questions that is dangerous. Like a situation happened in New York. Now you don't want it to happen. It's going to be a mess. And then I tell you like this, all this stuff that's going on, and like I said, I'm involved in down there with my housing authority, but I guarantee you, this mouth and me, they know me, I will open up to everybody and it would be a big mess. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Next speaker, Mr. Moffitt.
Ms. Waiters?
Good evening. Thank God for public portions. All right, I got them doing my time too, but I'm gonna respect your finger. Pat Waiters, 1233 Park Avenue. I'm gonna use my time of this public portion, and let me explain to you what, for the people that's watching this. Public portion means any matters of concern. I have a real big concern because we have an election coming up. And mighty funny, there's a lot of accusing going on, Dr. Gold, now that you mentioned micromanaging. I was accused of so many things before this election to stop me from running and stop me from coming to this board and speaking my opinion. I own my own opinion. And let's get it straight for the record. It's funny that we mentioned micromanaging and power and control to see my nice little opponent sitting in the audience tonight that could not make it to the debate. Another smack in the face to the public. When I speak on the public portion, it's for the public. I don't care about no board members' personal feelings. You have an opportunity to let the people decide to vote for you. And if you deceive them or you betray them, I'm not going to use my energy on you. So when I stand here and speak, don't accuse me of electioneering. It's an election, mudslinging, whatever that other lady said that not in the audience today, mighty funny. But let me tell you about Pat Waiters. My record shows for itself. I ran 6 times for the Board of Education. 6 times. Every time I wasn't successful, I sit in the same chair and speak on the same microphone 6 times later. I'm in the school, Miss P know our relationship, Dr. Patrick Fitzhugh, every superintendent that was here, I stay involved because I don't have a motive. I do not play politics. And that what breaks my heart. Being accused of anti-Semitic, then put me with Mr. Gray. I don't even know Mr. Gray, okay? But actually to put both of our face, because we African American, and then I get a call from Miss Minogue and say, what happened with you and your running mate? You want to talk about stereotypes? This breaks my heart. Mr. Gray is a stranger to me. I don't know Mr. Gray. He's interested in the Board of Ed all of a sudden, but I know Pat Waiters is here at every meeting. And I don't like the idea that you guys deceive the public and come with this long agenda. The school is good, the school is bad. I run for a volunteer position on this board to answer and do what I do anyway. It's about the students, the teachers, the faculty. Everybody know Pat Waiters is an advocate for Hoboken. And it breaks my heart to pick up the paper and somebody accuse me of mudslinging and throwing things back and forth. I'll bring facts to this microphone. If you don't like it, whip-de-doo. I don't care. I'm here because I'm a people's person. I'm not going to be accused of electioneering. I have my 2 candidates that I'm running with, and I want to be respected. And I don't like when I'm disrespected because people get desperate for an election. But I said I was going to stand at this microphone and take this opportunity before the election to let people know, don't be deceived, don't be tricked, don't be fooled, let the people decide. Unfortunately, Ms. Stonewall, you don't have the majority when it comes to people going in the machine to vote for Pat Waiters. And when I expressed to you why I was so emotionally destroyed when my seat was taken away and they had the majority to vote for you, it was wrong. No, she can't tell me what to say. She can't tell me what to say. This is the public portion. Again, so don't try to distract me because the truth hurts. Okay? Don't distract me. Don't distract me. No, I can address the whole public, Mr. Gold. That was your made-up rule. That's why you're under ethical charges now. Just relax. I'm getting to you next. Like I said, don't distract me and use my minutes. I don't care. It's a public meeting and I can bring everything out. It's going to come out anyway when I get on that board. Like I said before you rudely interrupted me, I'm addressing the whole government body. So don't tell me what to say and who to look at. Now, 2 of my minutes was taken away and I want them back. See, the truth hurt, Miss Stonewall. It don't set you free. I also stayed involved and I showed up at your curriculum meeting. You wasn't there. And for you to take and do what you did to Miss Minogue was dirty. Miss Minogue gave y'all more than enough time, but what it is, and I'm wrapping it up, that you feel confident and cocky because you got the majority and you think you're going to play another Dawn Zimmer trick and win that seat. I don't think so. And I'm willing to take my trip down to Brent, and thank God y'all making a bigger facility because when I get on that board, we're going to need the room. Thank you.
Vito, we had a speaker who said there were...
Wait.
I think he has the right to ask that.
Chair.
Wait. Yes, Mr. Dr.
May I address the lawyer?
Yes, you may.
You heard what I heard. What's the appropriate action?
Take action. Patricia Wade is talking to people out there who breathed it.
Well, I'm not aware of any ethics charges.
Neither am I, so what kind of comment is this?
You want me to break it? Want me to break it down to you?
No.
Ask me, Mr.
Ms. Waiters, it's okay. Just let, Ms. Waiters,
So,
we can,
I'm not aware
no,
of
you
what
don't,
neither are you, are you? Okay, fine.
no, that's all. Ms. Waiters, it is public comment. The board gave you the attention, and we'll now move on to the next speaker. Mr. Moffett?
Christina Lair, I believe.
Hi,
Name and address, thank you.
my name is Christine Adair and I live at Robertsport, just over by
Thank you.
JFK Stadium. I'm actually here to discuss, or to just bring to your attention, the use of third parties at the facilities, particularly JFK Stadium. I think the current policy now is that it can be open until 11 p.m. at night. It looked like when I looked up the policy that was the case. I actually think that it's a little late. I live over in that area. It's a very residential area. It's become more residential over the past 10 years. And I think that having groups leave at 11 p.m. Is disruptive to the neighborhood and to the community at large. I would request that the board and the superintendent look into changing that policy. I think the best course of action would be Sunday through Thursday, 9:30 closes down, and Friday, Saturday, 10:30 or even 11 really at that point. And this really has nothing to do with the kids. I mean, the facility itself, obviously, first and foremost, is to be used for the kids. And typically when there's an event there for the kids, it doesn't really go that late because they typically have school the next day or studies or that sort of thing. It's really the groups like Zog Sports and the soccer, I think it's the sports league, ABL Sports League and Zog Sports, because I looked up from the August meeting, it looked like it had been approved again, because I had come to the board last year about this, and we kind of thought it was resolved, but then, winter came, and then no one's out there, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of come back again in the fall. So I noticed that there are some groups that are in there until 10:30 and 11 o'clock at night during the weekdays, and I just think that it would be advantageous to look at that. I did also notice that the New Jersey School Board Association policy clearly states that community use must always respect the rights of others, particularly the rights of those residents whose properties adjoin and or are close to school properties. So I just want you to take note that that's in the current policy, and I just want you to look at that policy that's existing and try to tweak that, and we can all come to kind of a happy coexistence. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for complimenting our kids. Next speaker,
Tanya Tate.
Ms. Tate.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tanya Tate. I reside at 310 Harrison Street. My son's name is Shahid Fraser Jr. He is 10 years old. He is in Miss Williams' class, Special Ed. My son has ADHD with several secondary disabilities. His mentality is not of a 10-year-old. He rides the bus every morning to school. On several occasions, after the bus company has changed employees, my son was dropped off with no one to pick him up. No one never called me. My neighbor here, Sandra Smith, was out there as a witness, as well as another woman. And because they knew my child, they were able to get the babysitter, who is my aunt, to come from her top floor of a building and come and get him. On another occasion, he showed up at the door and my daughter was home. Apparently she was. My daughter goes to college. She just happened to be there and said, "Mom, Shahi knocked on the door and he said the bus driver dropped him off and he just came upstairs because nobody was outside." Third occasion, the bus driver dropped my son off at the wrong address. Okay? I emailed Miss Martinez, she's the case manager and child study team, regarding all of these things. She suggested I come here. I said, yes, I believe I should come in and speak to the board. I mean, for years my son have driven a bus. I've never complained about anything, nor the bus transportation department. This is the worst care of transportation I've ever seen in my life. It's unsafe for all kids. I'm not here just speaking about my son, but are any of the kids safe getting on the bus with these people? I don't think so. I am this close to calling child services on this bus company. One more incident and they're going to be right here in Hoboken. Okay? And as far as this aide that's on the bus, he said the bus driver did not listen to him when he told him this is Shaheed house. He kept going, passed it up, and still dropped him off at the wrong address. And also, I would like to just suggest these forms that go out in the summer. You send a lot of forms out about schedules, lineup, pickups. Nothing goes out for bus transportation. These are special education kids. Parents should be having forms filled out for drop-up, whatever the bus number is, blah, 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 what times. Why? Because apparently the bus driver was changed and he made up his own pickup time. This is a second bus driver. He told the children, as well as the parents that were standing outside, the children has to be up there 7:15. Is that in black and white? Because I recall when y'all did this early morning pickup, it's 7:45. Where are the children for 40 minutes, an hour? Is their school even open at that time? Nobody really knows the pickup time. There's nothing in black and white. He's making up his own times. Okay? So just FYI, one more incident. Okay? One more incident. And I'm reporting it to child services. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for coming out. I realize you're the baby and it was an effort. Next speaker, Mr. Moffett.
Jason Yoon Hendricks. You pass. I'll cross you off.
Pass.
Lynn
Next
Dansker
speaker.
is next. Lynn Dansker.
Lynn Dansker, 1313 Park Avenue. On the website about 2 weeks ago, the curriculum meeting was set for October 1st. On October 1st, I showed up at Demarest only to find out that the meeting is not going on at that time and that it changed times. Early in the day, I had sent an email to Tamika Baud Knight or something, who I guess used to be the director of curriculum, and her email was forwarded to somebody else who was out of town. And I wanted to add some things to the agenda. So needless to say, I get to the meeting's not going on. The very next day, I sent an email knowing that Ms. Stromwall is now the director of the curriculum subcommittee, or chair of the subcommittee, and asked if my agenda items could be added to the next meeting. She replied back to me, yes, of course. Then I sent her another reply saying, since the website is not up to date, please confirm the date, time, place for the curriculum subcommittee meeting. Because as a taxpayer, I have every right to be at that meeting and to contribute. And as someone running for the Board of Education, perhaps I might even have some things to offer, or at least an opportunity for me to learn. I never received an email back with confirmation of when that meeting was to take place, nor was it ever on the website. I happened to see Ms. Stromwell 1 week later and said, Monica, how come you didn't answer my email regarding when the curriculum subcommittee meeting was taking place? And her answer was, well, I forwarded your email to the superintendent. So now I'm standing here as a taxpayer thinking, our superintendent's responsibility is to be sending emails to taxpayers about dates and times and places of meetings? That's ridiculous. And I feel that there's no transparency, once again, just in something like a meeting. I have every right as a taxpayer to attend that meeting. I have every right as a taxpayer to know when that meeting is taking place. And I have every right as a taxpayer for the chair of a subcommittee meeting to respond to an email. Secondly, there was an email that was sent saying, asking, from one of the taxpayers, they're talking about the subcommittees, and Ms. Stromwell's answer to this taxpayer was, as far as you questioning why I was selected as the chair for the curriculum meeting, because many of us were asking that same question, is that the curriculum is the area which we have seen some of the biggest deficits in scoring and in just how we are being, how the scores are versus the rest of the state. And this board decided to put somebody that only has 9 or 10 months of experience as the chair of the curriculum. Not only does she have the least amount of experience on the board, but her position is up for election. So if she does not get elected to this board, then we have an empty, vacant chairperson, which again shows a lack of planning and a lack of moving ahead and thinking what's best for the curriculum. She goes on to say, I was selected to the chair of the curriculum meeting. It may have to do with the fact that I'm the only one available to run the meeting and show up. As a taxpayer, that's pretty pathetic. And finally, the disrespect that this board showed, well, I should say that the candidate that is running for the board showed last week at the Quality of Life Coalition Board of Education Forum, from a taxpayer standpoint, was appalling. The first time in 7 years that the Quality of Life Coalition holds a forum for all candidates to come and answer to the public, who is the one who elects you, and not to show up, is disrespectful. Our children, our community, and our parents deserve much, much more from our Board of Education members. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Mr. Moffitt.
Brian Murray.
Hi, Brian Murray, 1100 Maxwell Lane. I do have some prepared remarks, but before I start them, there was just a woman here who came with her son and has a real problem. And each meeting, you make little decisions that roll up into big decisions. Little decisions like, well, it's only $6,000 to move the meeting from here to there. And, we're going to save all this money in the long run and all that kind of stuff. And little decisions to spend a few dollars here and waste a few dollars there. And then it rolls up into big decisions like when you fire the bus drivers because you have a budget issue. And then what that turns into, it's not a budget item anymore, it's real people. And you get to see what happens when you make these decisions, these little decisions, and how they affect real people. But that aside, I'd like to go on the record again to thank the Quality of Life Coalition for sponsoring the BOE debate held last week. I am a candidate. I'd also like to thank Ms. Sobolov for attending the debate after the curriculum subcommittee meeting. The even-handedness of the QOLC is a rare thing in Hoboken politics. The QOLC was also willing to extend the deadline for the debate to accommodate Ms. Romwell's subcommittee meeting for her to join. I personally enjoyed exchanging ideas with Peter and Fran on how to improve our schools. As a parent of 2 public school children, I was very disappointed that BOE member Monica Stromwell nor anyone from her slate could attend. We face serious challenges in our school system. Among them are only 1 out of every $2 ends up in the classroom. We have a high school ranked in the bottom 20%. We have a high rate of violence in the school district. And we have critical staff that's being fired, sometimes illegally. Parents and taxpayers alike are concerned about the future of our schools. These stakeholders should get the chance to hear from every candidate in a public forum. Now, I can't speak for Fran or Peter, but my slate has agreed to make every effort to make ourselves available again in the next 2 weeks to debate and discuss the issues with the Kids First supported Parents for Progress. We are available at a time and a place that's convenient for you. We will make ourselves available all of this evening to work out a time and a place that works for you. Again, the rest of your slate's here, so I have my calendar. I've got 2 minutes right now if you want to just pull up your calendar and we could just lock in a time right now.
Comments, Brian. Yeah, Mr. Murray.
Now, I'm serious. I still have 2 minutes left, and
But-
maybe we could just do this right now.
Ms.
I'm very serious.
Stromwell cannot respond to you during your.
Well, she can in her time, and she can probably pull up that calendar
after
herself.
the meeting.
No, I want everybody to realize that we're going to make every effort we can so that we can understand what your positions are and what your views are. Because without that, then I'm not really sure why you're running, or how your ideas differ from Kids First, or how your ideas differ from my ideas. Maybe we're on the same page and that everything is great, but you did have an opportunity, and for whatever reason, it wasn't convenient. It is convenient for all of the parents that are going to end up with a half a day next week, but in 2 weeks, nobody could make it. One last point I want to make as an aside, because I saw that some of the board members were a little fidgety when I did mention the high rate of violence in the school district. Yeah. If you do look at that report and you look at all of the non-reported incidents where the police were called and they were non-reported, and you add those to all the reported, the number of incidents hasn't changed from last year. Actually, it went up 1 from last year. So that's what I mean, that when we were designated number 9 at most violent
Oh my God.
district in the state.
Come on,
It's the same
Brian.
thing.
Really? Hey, stop it. Let him finish his 5 minutes.
Okay, give him an extra 10
You know,
minutes.
people are concerned when they read that, and they're concerned about bullying at the school, and they're concerned about, sending their kids there. And then we need to have a real discussion other than saying, hey, everything is great.
No,
And unfortunately,
that's great.
you get to say everything is great, and that's why a lot of people move.
Oh.
Yeah, you make the
Our next speaker, Mr. Moffett?
Mr. Gray? Not here, I'm gonna cross him off. I have, Shalray, no last name? No, crossed him off, and the last speaker would be, Mr. Gary Enrico.
We keep hearing about the violence in our school, but if you went on NJ.com today, Sayreville was very, very good in HIB.
Yeah, exactly.
They were very, very high, one of the highest scorers in the state. But we don't want to bring that up. As far as being on the Board of Education, I don't think people realize you are just a policymaker. That's all you are. If you look at the code in New Jersey school boards, all you are is a policymaker. So Monica can never really be in charge of curriculum because she's not a director. She didn't go to college. She's a community member. So I don't think the board is going to let the community members actually run the policy and develop curriculum. That's why we have professionals. I disagree with some of you on a lot of things, but when something's wrong, it's wrong. All right, when I ran for the Board of Ed, I was going to make all these changes. Like, I hear things about the budget. Well, we have a budget director right here, and I don't think, I don't know what you could do. Maybe you own a business and you have a budget, but when you're looking at a $65 million budget and 90% of the things already decided, I don't know how much you could do. But we had a good start to the meeting, focusing on the kids and our faculty. Okay, and it's really sad that it has to end up this way, but whenever I see Perry show up at a meeting, I know Perry a long time, probably about 45 years. I know it's election time. So I'm glad I saw him today anyway. So let's focus it on the kids. Let's stay positive. And Sayreville, again, did score very, very good on HIB. But they weren't on the violent list of schools either. Just to let you know that.
Thank you, Mr. Enrico.
Excuse me, since my name was brought up, and I was just standing in the back.
Do you want to sign up, Mr. Belfiore? And I'm making an exception for Mr. Belfiore for his yearly appearance. And then after Perry, public comment is closed. So, Mr. Belfiore.
I just happened in here because I heard that there was a meeting happening. This is Hoboken. Years ago, we had the choice of recreation or elections. We chose wrong. We chose elections. Recently, we have transitioned elections to but once a year because it was to incentivize the electorate. I think that has really run its course. I think that nobody is paying attention. I think everybody has been pistol whipped with a tax increase, the second one in 2 years. So they're just looking to lay blame and waste on someone, and woe to whom they choose. I know Gary for many years. It is always election time in Hoboken. Thank God for it, and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Belfiore. So now that completes our list of comments. We are just going to have one comment each. We'll do my order and then I'll
We're going
close.
the same way, right down.
Yeah, the way I always do. Ms.
Okay, I
Rosecrans?
just have a very big concern how we can address that issue with the parent who came here and spoke about, because we've privatized transportation now. What's the protocol to address that now? Now that we no longer handle that.
Take a look at the situation, Fran. I'll go first thing tomorrow morning and discuss with the people who are more directly involved what to do about it.
Okay, and then can you give us an update of how they're going to address it or what's going to be done to correct it? Great, thank you.
Correct it.
Yeah, and
Is
That's it.
okay.
just piggybacking on what Fran said, I know the privatization or transportation was off to a little bit of a rough start. I mean, I don't know if you're still receiving many complaints in your office and things like that, but we should certainly look into, especially with these special needs students.
Yeah,
So.
I will. No, it's been calm in terms of things bubbling up to our level since probably the second week of school. So I was a little surprised, but I will check into it. Okay, for sure.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's it. Ms. Mitchell?
I think I'll skip just this one thing I'm too angry.
Ms. Sobolev?
Right, I do get upset, and I try not to personalize it because my children do go to Hoboken High School, and I try not to personalize it because there is a Hoboken High School student sitting right here, and there are probably 4 or 5 high school parents in the audience, and I share your shock. I don't understand how you can sit through a meeting that says the graduation rate is up, the HESPA is up, attendance is up, SAT scores are up, all these great things going on, but still it's the same script, this kind of notion that there's, this violence going on in the school. And I know I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it. It doesn't sell real estate if you don't do it the other way, right? Because a point is to scare all these people, and it makes me want to cry because they shouldn't have to hear that about their school. My son comes home and says, that was tweeted and going all around. It is horrible. It is despicable, and it's wrong, and these kids don't deserve it, and the teachers don't deserve it, and the parents that are happy don't deserve it, and we sit here and we have a great meeting, and you're entitled to your own opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts. And the meeting I'm just glad that the entire softball team didn't hear these horrible things that certain members of the community just keep coming up and saying for their own benefit. So I would like to end as we began. Congratulations to the Red Wings softball team. Congratulations to Mr. Mark Mortone. And I wanted to add congratulations to Ms. Fran Cohen for winning a Gifted and Talented award from Eric, which I think is very awesome. And good night.
Thank you, Irene.
Dr. Gold? Any comments?
Have a good evening.
Ms. Stromo?
A lot of comments have been said about me and why I'm up here. I'm a parent first and foremost. All my friends and their children go to the school and some of them are sitting right here. Every time there's negative words said about our school, and I'm talking to you, Brian Murray, our school.
Okay, stop. Let her make her comment, please, Mr. Murray.
So wait, just say it over and over again? People don't appreciate it. Your facts are not factual. They're pulled out of somewhere where I don't know. And I'm not really sure why you want to be a part of something if you think it's so terrible and that you must sell to the burbs. I'm Hoboken to stay.
Ms. Evans, oh, wait, audience. We're almost done with the meeting. Ms. Evans? No, Mr. Cocktail? I just want to say that to Ms. Tate, that the full board is obviously, we have, even though we don't administer, we certainly apologize and, have heartfelt feelings toward her, that she is having a situation that with busing and her child, and none of us here, all 9 of us, are glad that she found a way to come here and voice her opinion, which is the right of everyone, but we're saddened that it got to the point where she didn't feel like her situation is being addressed, but I am sure that Dr. Brickell and Dr. Hernandez will be on that case right away tomorrow to resolve her issues. The busing, it's interesting because from outsourcing of transportation has been a discussed item. I've said this before, since I became a board member in 2009, and we all vehemently, no one was ever a fan of it because it was our most vulnerable group of students, because we are a walking district. So the only children that get on buses are children that have some form of disability or need that requires them to be bused. And so it was the last thing that anybody wanted to see when we were under a difficult budget scenario, as well as other things that were in the budget. So hopefully there were issues, and much of it has been resolved and was running smoothly, and hopefully we will have a good solution, and we will watch this very carefully, which I have confidence that the administration will. I just wanted to mention that it is the president or chair of the board who assigns the committees and committee chairs. And the actual curriculum committee, for the first time in 2009, when I became chair, we created it to be public, to allow the public to attend and listen, just as the public listens to the main board meetings in this room. That's not common. It's a business meeting where work is done. Once again, Dr. Brickell was, why do you do this? I've never heard of a subcommittee not being, held and having public attend. And we said it's part of our way of allowing people to come and listen. And it's been an excellent way for certain parents come and enjoy flipping through the curriculum when we're looking at it, or looking through textbooks before the series that we're going to adopt, and just hearing the conversation. But it is a very unusual, it's actually the only time in Dr. Brickell's 45 years of being a superintendent that he has ever heard of a subcommittee meeting being open to the public. So I actually think it's a valiant, transparent effort. Mm-hmm. We've had a consistent group on the committee, and when Dr. Brickell told me as board president that I should not chair a committee, I dutifully appointed someone else, and that's the entire story about it. There's no backstory, there's no secret story. So on that note, I would like to say, just as we all would like to always end, and say congratulations to our Lady Red Wings for this softball championship, and to the ones that have graduated, the fact that they're all in college, and they're really wonderful examples of what our high school can produce, and they were wonderful to see as a group. Congratulations to Mr. Batone, Mr. Mark Batone, on behalf of the full board. We're very, very proud that he's New Jersey Teacher of the Year, and we're really excited because I personally, as well as all the rest of us up here, think he deserves to be National Teacher of the Year. And
then he'll be away from the district another 6 months.
I know, that's the only. But I will say, I did hear, little birdie told me that he has made all kinds of arrangements to make sure that he is still in touch with his kids, and that he still is a presence in their classroom, even with the duties. So with that,
motion to close. Just for a minute, about you chairing. Just so that everybody knows, you are ex officio, right, on all committees still?
Not presently. Not presently. I just, for this interim, I filled the committees with everyone until we get to the January reorg, and then at that point, I didn't want to disrupt things too much. So, and with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.